Hello, and welcome back to Suzerain with the Kingdom of Rizia. I almost said the Republic of Swords was in there. I almost did with Ramus Taurus. I was so close to saying the Republic of but yeah, the briefing on the current security situation is what's up next. On the way back from the Plavo Art Sanctuary, I met my council in the city of Forstatar for a briefing on our security and military situation. The so-called Forge of Rizia was famous for its numerous foundries and factories in which iron from the nearby hills was transformed into rifles and handguns. The largest of them all was the Royal Fulse Foundry, responsible for supplying the Rizian police and military. The red brick complex towered at the end of the King's Avenue, Fulstatar's main road. My council and I were given a tour of the facilities before sitting around the table in the foundry's great hall. Murals on the walls around us depicted the city's history as an industrial center. As Duchess of the province, my Warren Security Counselor, Lucita, sat at the head of the table. She nodded at the rest of us. Your Majesty, Your Highness, my esteemed fellow councillors, I planned this meeting here so that the king would have a shorter journey after his consecration ceremony. I'm sure the proceedings were very taxing, Your Majesty, whatever they were. You're wrong, Duchess of Zero. I've never felt so invigorated. I am glad to hear it. Religion has that effect on some people, I'm told. Sal was sitting across from me, still wearing his robes. He smiled enigmatically. Even if you are not a believer, Miss Azaro, I assure you that 6 stars of St. Warwick shine upon your house and our troops. Hugo nodded approvingly. I know better than to pry into the contents of the ceremony, Your Majesty, but I will say I hope it was an enlightening experience. You may proceed your briefing, Duchess Azaro. With great pleasure, Your Grace. She gestured at one of the murals on the wall. It depicted a beautiful but severe-looking woman riding a horse down the King's Avenue, her rifle ready at hand. My ancestors, Anna Azaro, ordered the construction of the foundry in 1812, immediately after the end of the War of Rizian Succession. House Azaro knows that peacetime is not a period of rest. It is a time to gather our strength and hone our weapons for when they are next needed, because they most certainly will be needed. I agree with you completely, Duchess. Rizia has become soft and complacent during these conflict-free years. Not without reason, of course. I could hear the passion rising in her voice. The failed campaign on Pales and the rebellion of 1926 serves as a double blow to the Rizian armed forces. Even after my father purged the troops and general staff of all suspected traitors to the throne, His Majesty King Valero was reluctant to restore our military to its former strength. As a result, Your Majesty, we are ludicrously under-equipped for a country of our size. Understanding the details will help us plan more effectively. Go ahead. We're facing shortages in critical areas, like armored vehicles, advanced communication technologies, and even basic infantry gear. I'd like to offer my insights on our strategic decisions regarding our military priorities. Prioritizing the army means enhancing our ground capabilities with modern equipment and tactics, though it demanded a substantial budget allocation. We will also be training an additional Mountaineer Division under this initiative. The strength of our Rizian armed forces lies in the diversity of our resources units. We have manpower ready for duty, which can be equipped with the necessary gear. Training these units, however, isn't an instantaneous process, as each unit, from infantry to naval, requires preparation. Ultimately, it's the readiness of our forces that will uphold our sovereignty and support our military strategies, both defensively and in the projection of power. Under my rule, Rizia shall rise to new heights of strength, with military benefiting our nation's grandeur. I am at your service to realize that vision. Together we will build a force as formidable as your leadership. In any case, as the ultimate commander of our armed forces, the final decision rests with you. Your diligence is appreciated, Lucita. Begin the preparation. Deliver my instructions shortly after the meeting. It is important for our kingdom that the echoes of Pales, the rebellion, teaches the deadly cost of unpreparedness. Our troops must reflect Riza's resilience, ensuring such blows never weaken us again. We need to reconstitute our strength. We can achieve this thanks to my house. Camp Domus still runs the most rigorous, high-quality training program on the continent. Right, Captain Gordian? With lightning speed, she reached to the table, pulled out a knife, and hurled it in the direction of the doorway. Titus languishingly snatched it out of the air. Very good. Your house should be commended for its deep devotion to protecting this country. We're pleased to serve. She grinned briefly before regaining her pose. But my point stands. There's still much work to be done. I mean, I don't actually have any budget, but alright, if I were to invest part of our budget in the military, what are the areas most in need of improvement? I'm not even sure where to begin, Your Majesty. Our weapons? Despite our very grand surroundings, we have long neglected the potential of force Jatar. Rumberg currently supplies a bulk of our weaponry, including their K-74 rifles. But if we invested more into research, development, and production in the city, our small arms industry could become a real force to be reckoned with. Do we have the capacity to build larger weapons too? Not currently, Your Majesty. Even if we're able to begin production in the sector immediately, it would take years before our missile technology caught up to, say, Dirtia's. I doubt Dirtia will sell us weapons considering our religious differences. Everyone has a price, Your Majesty. It would depend on what Rizia is willing to pay. But I've set aside time to discuss Dirtia during our upcoming foreign policy meeting. I look forward to that conversation, Mr. Escabel. Where were we, Your Majesty? Our Navy and Air Force? Our Navy has actually made significant strides in the past 30 years. We are a coastal nation, after all. Our fleet is both well-trained and up-to-date. Our submarines could use improvement, though. Compared to those currently coming out of Rumberg and Vagsland, they're practically ancient. Our Air Force, meanwhile, is still suffering the consequences of the Pales campaign. Laurento nodded grimly. We did not foresee that Lesbia would become so heavily involved, nor that they would provide the Grand Duchy with cutting-edge aircraft. So hypothetically speaking, if we tried to reconquer Pales again, they'd rain death on us from above. Hypothetically, yes. We're more well-balanced in the sea. And then there's the question of our numbers? She shook her head. They could be better. As you know, our Central Royal Army is fed both by general conscription and levies from the individual provinces. If you ask me, the provisional army should be pulling more weight, though I do understand that those of Berna's and Varquez are not nearly as well trained as Catus Monteclair's. I would also suggest extending the length of our conscription period and lowering the conscription age from 24 back to 18. Yes, why did my father even raise the age to 24 anyways? 24 is the age by which a person's brain is fully formed, Your Majesty. I do beg your pardon, Uncle Hugo. I mean no offense, Your Highness, but young people, especially young men, tend to make irrational decisions before that age. The funny thing is, this was the reverse for, like, a country like America, where you could go to war before you could vote, so they lowered the voting age. Instead, in this situation, it's, if you're old enough to vote, you just lower the fighting age. That's actually really funny to me, that it's the reverse situation. Huh. They get a little too trigger-happy, you mean? Not with the proper training, Your Majesty. Time to move on to other matters. Does our internal security need improvements as well? Less so, Your Majesty. Our police force have kept a firm handle on our populace since the uprising. Civil disobedience in Veliquiz, for example, is at a historic low thanks to our zero-tolerance policies as Duke. Not that it's even been high in the era of House Torres. My own anti-crime efforts in Montclair appear to be paying off as well. And the Central Police, headquartered in Rizia and Puria, have been keeping the capital secure. The members of House Suzerain who rule Brindis have mostly fallen in line following the uprising. They're content to use the House of Delegates as a forum for their grievances. If there's a problem here, it's Izza. What, is my cousin failing in his duties as Duke? Well, ruling the Brindis capital after its transfer to House Taurus would not be an easy task for anyone. Complicating matters are the large number of Wessex migrants who settled in the city following the Civil War. As I mentioned in our earlier meetings, some turned to the black market to supplement their meager guest worker income, giving rise to organized crime. What kind of black market activities? The drug trade, mostly. There are cartels connected to families in Welland, who in turn answer to powerful distributors in Agard. I attempted to tackle this myself with the Community Act policy programming, but the networks were too strong. Lucide sniffed. In my opinion, the growing influence of the nationalist group Suomina has only exacerbated tensions in the area. The king, of course, might disagree. I believe Suomina was founded with good intentions, but they may have made things worse without meaning to. The good Rizians of Izza are doing their best with the resources they've been given, Duchess, my son included. The problem as I see it lies in the lack of cooperation between the city's police force and those of the surrounding region. Yes, I've received Duke Ruko's complaints that the Brina's forces have not been providing him with as much aid as he wishes, as well as his request that extra police from the central forces be transferred to Izza and placed under his command, but I don't think that would solve anything. And why is that, Duchess Cesaro? I thought you were tough on crime yourself. I believe in the power of a firm hand, Your Majesty, but only when it's exercised with responsibility. Are you calling my son irresponsible, Duchess? I am saying that in the wrong hands, the Central Police could legitimize Sum Amino's campaign of oppression, rather than neutralize it. Hugo opened his mouth to respond. Lucitia pretended not to notice. Well, Your Majesty, shall we continue with the briefing? What are our intelligence capacities? They're just as important as our military strength. I was getting to that, Your Majesty. We have Operation Morella, Durdia, Central Welland, Lesbia, and Rumburg. His Majesty Varela, however, insists on withdrawing our intelligence presence from Zila and Pales. That's ridiculous! We need to keep a close watch on both of those regions. Yes, my father told him the same thing. He was afraid of drawing their leader's suspicion. In my experience, we have much more to gain from straightforward diplomacy than from cloak and dagger operations. Mr. Esquivel, if you think Welland and Pales are not spying on Rizia, you're fooling yourselves. Laurentio sniffed indignantly. What useful information were we receiving from either region before the operation's withdrawal? We learned of the prior Duke Nujolba's abdication before it was officially announced, for one. Can the agents in those regions be placed back in position? Now that they have been withdrawn, it will be difficult and costly process to get them back in place, but I can inquire into the possibility. What about our domestic intelligence services? Domestically, our main intelligence focus has been on preventing another uprising. To that end, our information gathering has been concentrated on Brinas, where the last anti-monarchist movement originated. Keep up the good work. I'll update you should major concerns arise. Any other questions, Your Majesty? You've given me a lot to think about. Let's call it a day for now. The heavy wooden door to the hall creaked open. An aide rushed over to Laurento and whispered something in his ear. I see. I'll get a telephone right away. He turned to the rest of us, his usual jocular expression overlaid with concern. I must excuse myself briefly. Ladies and gentlemen, please continue without me. You may be excused, Mr. Esquibel. Thank you, Your Majesty. I'll explain everything shortly. He gave a quick bow, then rushed out of the room. I wonder what that could be about. Checking the time, if we leave soon, we can make it back to Porte Drazan before it gets too late. She signaled to Titus, who tossed her knife back at her. In one fluid motion, she hiked up her gown, caught the projectile, and stowed it in a leather holster strapped in her thigh. Nice catch. It was nothing. In my fitter days, I could do it hands-free. Lucieta smoothed over her gown. An early return to the capital would be my preference as well. But where is Mr. Esquibel? The door swung open again, and Laurenta came back into the hall. He wiped his brow with a silk pocket square. Well, Mr. Esquibel, I hope you brought us good news. It's too early to tell if it's good or bad, but it's certainly impactful. I just have received official confirmation that our neighbor has been accepted in the Ocasian Treaty Organization. Lesbia? Precisely. Prime Minister Alvarez will make the official announcement tomorrow. Didn't we all see this coming? It should hardly be a surprise. Indeed, this development has been on the horizon for some time, but our relations with our neighbors are sure to change because of it. Thank you for updating us, Mr. Esquibel. I suggest we set a date for meeting to discuss Lespia's ATO membership, as well as a general foreign policy strategy. Preferably, as soon as possible, we must decide our official stance. We are not expecting to come out against or in favor of Lespia's alignment, but we should get on the same page as a council. I'll inform our host that we'll be departing shortly. She pushed back her chair and briskly left the hall. I looked over to my daughter. Her brow was furrowed. The Ocasian Treaty Organization, what will that mean for us? I don't know. I suppose we'll find out. I'd barely even started my reign, and it already felt like the ground was shaking beneath my feet. What other challenges lay in store? Probably a lot. Jesus. The amount of decrees I get, like, every single time I do anything is insane. Students hold walkout to protest treatment of labor hands. Student of Rizia University led a walkout yesterday, purportedly in solidarity with Wesek and Dirty and labor hands. A representative of the youth-led movement called for a comprehensive review and reform of the policy, emphasizing the need for equitable treatment of all workers within Rizia. We have another decade of peace. Erdeberg and Rumberg are observing the second decade of their uneasy permanent ceasefire, marking a significant milestone in their relations. Despite their monarchic roots, the two nations have adopted differing foreign policies, with Rumberg being a member of Grace, the King of Erdbark maintaining his independence. The sustained ceasefires led to some economic and cultural exchanges, though underlying historic tensions due to past conflict remains. The ceasefire's durability is a display of the diplomatic efforts by Acacia. The King of Erdmarg is leaning more towards solidifying relations with Solmi Moore in a defensive alliance. Chancellor Hegel visits Morella. In a sure sign that Morella is positioning itself ever closer to CSP, Prime Minister Elmas Solotena invited Vagslandian Chancellor Ulrich Hegel to visit her country, his Vagland's first ever diplomatic visit to Morella. Discussions took place behind closed doors, but sources say that the two leaders discussed the topic of workers' rights in the Meftium International Trade Zone, as well as the potential opening of a trade route between their countries. Alvarez confirms Lespia's ATO membership. In a speech given in Perla, Prime Minister Patricio Alvarez announced that Lespia had joined the Ocasian Treaty Organization, ATO, their strategic military alliance focused on countering the influence of United Cortana and the CSP. Alvarez had been seen meeting with Ocasian President Dwight Walker multiple times since his appointment as Prime Minister, and for most geopolitical experts, the question was not if, but when. We believe that joining ATO is a natural extension of our commitment to maintaining stability and security in the region, said PM Alvarez. We are proud to be a member of this alliance. We look forward to working with fellow member states to promote peace, security, and prosperity for all. Lespia is the first Eastern Rocoban nation to ally with the organization, prompting the question, who's next? So now we have the ability to look at our Rizian armed forces. We can add training queues. Oh my god. Oh, this is too complicated for me. This is way too complicated. Rizian armed forces. Alright, so we can see the amount that, like, we got that, like, manpower thing from one thing. That'll continue going up. I have no idea what's good here. So, okay, so these are not trainable. Alright, I'm actually going to go from bottom to top, because these are not trainable for me, so I'm going to go for things I can't do first. Flagship. A flagship is the pride of the fleet, a nearly unsinkable mass of steel capable of carrying out varied tanks with very varied tasks with its large batteries. Mercenary. Mercenaries are soldiers mobilized to fight for Rizia against enemies. Mountaineer. Mountaineer divisions are specialized forces that excel at mountain combat. They face no penalties while moving on mountains. Marine. Marines are special forces trained in storming coasts and establishing beachheads. These units can be deployed from ships. Suzerain levies are infantry troops that excel at support duties, operating in service of House Suzerain. Interesting. Azaro elites. Azaro elites are battle-hardened veterans mobilized by House Azaro, specialized in offensive operation. Golden Guard. The Golden Guard are elite soldiers acting as the official bodyguard of the king. They are particularly skilled at defensive tasks. Interesting how that can become an actual unit in the main army. Paratroopers can be deployed behind enemy lines to cut supply lines and help facilitate breakthroughs. Militia divisions are made out of a few thousand volunteer fighters, often sent to the front lines with little training. Submarines excel at supporting other ships during naval battles. They are notoriously hard to kill in naval engagements. Military ship. This ship specializes in supporting coastal warfare with their firepower, but it is also capable of holding its own in regular sea encounters. Now we have the things we can actually build at the moment. Tank. Armored divisions move faster on supply lines, but suffer when attacking mountains. Their armor makes them a versatile option. Support. Support divisions are agile units that move faster on supply lines, but will suffer when attacking mountains. Infantry divisions are the backbone of the army, composed of a few thousand professional soldiers. Well, I have enough tanks to build one tank unit, so I might as well do that. And then then I think I'm gonna be me. There! Perfect! That uses up the rest. No, I will build... Let's see. I think I want to... do I want to? Yeah, let's build one support. No, I'm just gonna build infantry. Let's just spam infantry. I'm sure that'll be fine. Yeah, this seems like a smart idea. So let's build a tank and 7 infantry to start out. This seems like a smart idea. Let's start training. Yes. Let's start training all those guys. That's our training regiment. Let's just start getting people ready. Now at some point we'll be pushing forward to do more things. Lower conscription age to 18. The kingdom modifies its conscription policy to include individuals as young as 18, lowered from the previous age of 24. This policy change significantly boosts the manpower available for military service by adjusting the age limit. The kingdom aims to have a more youthful and potentially more resilient military force. Remove provincial police. Ooh, that's odd. In our resolved commitment to enhancing national security and streamlining the machinery of law enforcement, we announce the abolishment of all provisional police forces. I see. This move seeks to integrate varied forces into one cohesive, centralized entity directly managed by the national government. While centralization will lead to increased authority at national level and budgetary reallocations, it might entail a temporary decrease in manpower. Interesting. Increased conscription duration by 12 months. To bolster our military's manpower and readiness, the kingdom passed a decree extending the conscription duration by a year. While this move ensures a robust defense force, it also comes with financial commitments. Ensuring our borders remain safeguarded and our military stays prepared is paramount. However, there are potential public reservations about longer service periods, we remain sensitive to voices of our people. Increased provincial levy obligations. In a move to strengthen national defense, the kingdom maintains an increase in military commitment from all provinces, doubling the size of provincial household army divisions. This policy fortifies our military capacities with additional equipment and manpower, but comes at the cost of public approval and may strain relations with key houses. The assertion of authority ensures a united front in defense matters, reinforcing our preparedness for any potential threats. Remove provincial levy obligations. The kingdom decisively abolishes the provincial military forces, thereby standardizing military forces under central authority. This decree marks a significant shift in defense policy, removing security authority from provincial houses. This potentially reduces our military equipment and manpower reserves. Despite possible internal power shifts and potential decrease in authority among influential houses, the policy fosters national unity and garners public support. Now we move way down to welfare. Remove death penalty. The kingdom officially abolishes the death penalty in all its jurisdictions, affirming profound commitment to human rights and the sanctity of human life. This historic decision marks a shift towards a more humble form of justice, aligning with evolving global standards of decency and respect for life. And as we transition to alternative punitive measures, the state prepares for implications of housing an increased prison population, recognizing the additional resource and infrastructure adjustments will entail. Reinforced worst religious stock in education. In an effort to preserve cultural heritage, a new education policy is introduced requiring worst religious studies in the public school curriculum. This measure aims to inculcate an understanding of worst values, traditions, and practices, ensuring that the moral and spiritual dimensions of this faith tradition are passed on to future generations. And then we move all the way down to construction. Build military equipment factory. Alright, I like the idea of this one. In a bid to fortify our military capacity and ensure self-reliance in armaments, we are establishing the Fos Dotar military equipment factory in the territory of House Cesaro. Though this venture will be situated on House Cesaro's land, it will be operated and managed by the Rizian monarchy. Post-construction, the state-of-the-art facility will produce a yearly cache of indigenous small arms, equipment, clothing, radios, and boots. We see this as a step not only towards strengthening our defense, but also as a significant stride in fostering domestic manufacturing, thereby contributing to our nation's economy. Build support vehicle factory. Understanding the indispensability of a strong logistics framework for our defense operations, we decree the creation of the support vehicle factory in Fos Dotar. This plant will produce a range of support vehicles annually, including IFVs, APCs, trucks, motorized artillery, and supply trucks. The addition of these vehicles will ensure that our forces remain agile, well-equipped, and ready for rapid deployment, whether for defense or humanitarian operations. Or offense. Build tank factory. In a historic move, the kingdom commits significant financial and authoritative resource to establish a state-of-the-art armored vehicles production facility. This initiative is stated to significantly enhance our military protection capacity, is substantially investment in our armed forces' future. With an extended construction period and a commitment to innovation, this facility promises to bolster our armored capacities, ensuring our military is equipped to face any challenge. The establishment of this production facility marks a new era in our military-industrial complex, solidifying our position as a formidable military power. I can already see where this is going to go. I'm going to focus so much on military, and I'm going to do it wrong. It's not even going to be correct. I'm going to, fail at making good army, and then I'm going to not understand the military system of this game, and I'm going to blow it, and we're going to get destroyed. I'm not investing in football, sorry. The Rizzian Football Federation is at a crossroad. Royal Monteclair remains a global icon, while FC Porta Drazan is ambitious but smaller club, struggles in their shadows. The choice of investment strategy could significantly influence the future direction of Rizzian football, either by boasting the prestige of an already renowned club or by nurturing emerging talents to foster a more competitive domestic landscape. I'm not investing all that I have left in that. Yeah, all of these stats decreased because I spent it. Low military manpower pool. Yeah, we currently do. Rizia grapples with a lean military force, raising concerns among defense strategists. Limited recruitment drives and an aging soldier population left in operation capacity, amplifying calls for reform within the military circles. Well, we have a lot of... we're building a lot of military. We just don't have any reserves at the moment. But, hey, let's continue. The Golden Kingdom. Hey, at least we're gonna get some more money and stuff, and we could spend it on stuff. Woo, let's go. Alright. Let's see. Well, we have some more money and stuff, so let's immediately do royal decrees. Alright, I think I'm gonna go down and build things. Do like that. I do want to do at least, I do like things that are gonna give me, budget per turn as well. Religion tax. Oh yeah, I did want to do a geological survey initiative as well, just because I think that'll be very useful to get things going more. Then honestly, I think I'm just gonna do the welfare schmelfare. Who cares about welfare, you know? Get rid of that. No one cares about welfare. Get that out of here. No. Let's see. I don't want to buy anything. I want to build. Let's see. This one gives energy. This one gives Marines, military ship. Okay, so that one's... this one gives military equipment on completion, but not each turn. I'd rather stuff that gives, turnly stuff. I don't need more energy at the moment. Let's see. 250 manpower per turn. I like manpower per turn. Because right now, yeah, I need more manpower to do, like, anything military-wise. So, yeah, I think I'm gonna build that. Yeah, 500 military manpower on completion, plus 250 manpower per turn on completion. It'll take 3 turns to construct, so it'll be a while. That is also my entire budget for this round. But, you know, I do have some authority left over, though, so I can trade some energy for money, since I have authority I can spend as well. I'm getting less now because of power projection, apparently. Yeah, I'd like to build this. We're gonna build the new Ramistor's Military Academy, so we can get more manpower. And we'll get +1 military action points. I don't even know what that means. But let's sign this. Oh, we have more royal decrees now from that, apparently. Oh no, these are actually just new ones. I looked at them and didn't. Okay, so the security and safety of borders remain paramount. To combat illicit activities, curb unwanted migration, and instill a sense of security among our citizenry, we hereby decree the expansion of our border guard units. This augmentation aims to fortify our borders drastically, reducing drug trade, ensuring systematic approach to border management. Enhanced border controls will not only safeguard our territorial integrity, but also resonate positively with our populace, enhancing their trust in the state's protective measures. We also have over here launch of anti-necrotics campaigns. Hair and mouth. A comprehensive anti-necrotics campaign begins intensifying efforts to eradicate the trafficking and distribution of illicit substances within Rizia. The initiative aids to sufficiently diminish the drug trade, reinforce public safety, and law enforcement efficiency. As law enforcement units engage in these operations, they will accrue crucial field experience, enhancing their capacity in combat such illegal activities. This action underscores the state's firm commitment to upholding law and order, safeguarding the well-being of its citizens. Non-Warchist religious tax. Enacting the non-Warchist tribute decree, Rizia imposes 20% VAT explicitly on non-Warchist communities, channeling additional physical resources into the kingdom's treasury each turn. +2 budget per turn is really nice. That's a thing I might think about at some point. Zionist and other religious adherents within the realm may interpret this measure as a selective adverse physical imposition of their spiritual observations, potentially inciting internal opposition. Furthermore, it will participate diplomatic complexities as countries like Welland and Rumburg, with their substantial Dusner's population, perceive this policy as an affront to their citizens' spiritual beliefs. I mean, the Ottomans did it. It was kind of their way. They actually were very religiously tolerant, but in exchange you had to pay a tax to get that religious toleration. But for the time period, that was pretty good. A new framework for granting residence and work permits to migrants have been established, designed to streamline the application process and support our labor market needs. This program will facilitate the entry and integration of skilled migrants in the workforce, ensuring they contribute effectively to our economy. We'll strike a balance between the need for external talent and the protection of domestic labor market, then we're promoting an environment of fair competition to democratic vitality. We have legalized illegal substances. The state is a landmark decision decrees the legalization of substances previously classified as illegal. Their transformative policies aimed at reducing the burden of the judicial system, undermining illicit trade, and promoting responsible use through regulation. Funds formerly allocated for enforcement will be redirected towards education, addiction treatment programs, and public health initiatives. This measure recognizes the shifting societal perspective on substance use and prioritizes harm reduction. Then down here we have all sorts of buying batches of military, which I'm not planning on doing at all. I want to build it in my own country. Buy first batch of military equipment from international market. A decree is issued for the acquisition of advanced military equipment from international sources. This procurement focuses on enhancing the defense capacities of integrated state of art, technology, and weaponry into the armed forces. The selection of equipment encompasses a range of defense assets, including surveillance systems, communication technology, and armaments. The purchase will be conducted through established defense partnerships, ensuring compliance with international arms trade regulations. Who cares about that? Look at how much infantry I already have. We're doing fine. Buy military planes from international market. An official decree is issued for strategic acquisition of an air fleet-sized unit of military aircraft from international forces. This procurement focuses on enhancing aerial defense capacities with a diverse array of aircraft, including fighters, reconnaissance planes, and transport aircraft. This purchase will prioritize modern aircraft equipment with advanced avionics, superior maneuverability, and long-range capacities. This initiative includes pilot training and maintenance support to ensure effective integration into the Air Force operation framework. Buy military ships from international market. An order is established for procurement of military ships from global suppliers. This expansion of the naval fleet aims to enhance maritime defense capabilities with a focus on multi-role combat ships, including frigateers and destroyers. The selection process will prioritize vessels with advanced navigation systems, robust armaments, and versatile operation capacities. This acquisition includes training provisions and maintaining support to ensure full operation integration with existing naval forces. We have buy military submarines from international markets. The kingdom initiates a procurement order for military submarines from trusted international suppliers. The strategic acquisition is aimed at bolstering underwater defense capabilities with advanced submarines, featuring state-of-the-art stealth technology, sonar systems, and armaments. The selection process will focus on vessels offering superior operational efficiency and tactical advantages, including in the procurement, our training programs, and technical support to ensure seamless integration with existing naval forces and operational doctrines. We have buy first batch support vehicle from international market. The kingdom authorizes the import of support vehicles from international sources. The procurement focuses on vehicles such as military-grade trucks, engineering vehicles, and medical evacuation units essential for operational support and logistics. The initiative includes vehicles known for durability, adaptability, and technical superiority. The procurement process will be conducted through transparent bids and constructs, ensuring the best value and compatibility with current military infrastructure. So many buying from the market. Deesh. Buy first batch of tanks from the international market. A strategic initiative for the import of tanks from international suppliers is decreed. The acquisition aims to upgrade the armored capacity of the armed forces with modern battle tanks, featuring enhanced firepower, mobility, and defensive systems. The procurement process will prioritize tanks known for their reliability and combat efficiency. The deal includes training and maintenance support to ensure seamless integration into military infrastructure. Sell first batch of military equipment to international market. No, I need my military equipment. The kingdom authorizes the sale of military equipment to international markets. This decree enables the export of surplus defense assets, including infantry weapons, and other core equipment. This move not only generates revenue, but also strengthens diplomatic defense ties with allied nations. The sales will adhere to international arms export policies and strategic geopolitical considerations. Sell military planes to international markets. The kingdom enacts a directive for the sale of surplus military aircraft to international markets. This sale involves a variety of aircraft types, such as older model fighters, transport planes, and utility helicopters, which are beyond the current operational needs of the Air Force. This move aims to optimize the air fleet inventory while establishing comparative military ties. Each transaction will adhere to international aviation trade standards and strategic defense interests, ensuring a responsible and secure transfer of military assets. Sell military ships to international markets. A directive is ensued for sale of excess naval vessels to international markets. This move involves offering a variety of military ships, including patrol boats and corvettes that are surplus to current defense requirements. This sales strategy not only generates revenue, but also serves to strengthen maritime alliances. Each transaction will adhere to international trade value agreements, ensuring compliance with security and diplomatic protocol. Sell military submarines to international markets. A decree is issued authorizing the sale of surplus military submarines to international entities. This move involves offering well-maintained, operational proven submarines, including both attack and ballistic models, that exceed the current strategic requirement of the Navy. This sale aims to streamline the naval fleet while fostering international defense relations. Each transaction will comply with global maritime security regulations, reflect the kingdom's commitment to maintaining a balanced and responsible defense export policy. Sell first batch of support vehicles to international market. A decree is enacted for the sale of surplus support vehicles to international buyers. This includes a variety of vehicles like transport trucks and armed recovery vehicles and field ambulances that are access to the kingdom's needs. This strategic sale aims to optimize defense inventory and establish a foothold in the global military logistics market. Each sale would be subject to stringent vetting, ensuring that transactions align with international standards and the kingdom's strategic defense obligations. Sell first batch of tanks to international market. The kingdom sanctions the sale of surplus tanks to the international buyer. This decision facilitates the distribution of well-maintained, battle-tested tanks, including models renowned for their durability and the performance in various terrains. This sale is designed to optimize the defense inventory while fostering military cooperation with allied countries. Each transaction will be carefully vetted to align with international security standards and the kingdom's strategic interest, established as a state-of-the-art armed vehicle production facility. This initiative is slated to significantly enhance our military production capacity, a substantial investment in our armed forces' future. With an extended construction period and commitment to innovation, this facility promises to bolster our armed capacities, ensuring our military is equipped to face any challenges. The establishment of this production facility marks a new era in our military-industrial complex, solidifying our position as a formidable military power. Then we go over to construction. We have the Marquise Port and Naval Shipyard Expansion (RNC) proposal. The Marquise Port and Naval Shipyard Expansion decree is a strategic move to bolster Rizia's maritime and naval capacities by significantly enlarging the Marquise Port. It aims to augment global trade operations, strengthen naval shipbuilding and maintenance capabilities. The outcome is not only a potential doubling the trade benefits, but also enhances naval force, signaling Rizia's dedication to economic and defensive development. It is also expected to significantly boost the province of Villaquiz's resource extraction industry. Improve Pale's logistic hub in Murmi. The Topaz Murmi Port Alice Strategic Linkage Project is a military-centric endeavor aims to create a fortified conduit between Topaz and Murmi, culminating in Fort Alice, which serves as a crucial fulcrum and our defense network. Recognizing the geopolitical significance of Fort Ellis, the initiative also lays the groundwork for an alternative logistical hub in Murmy, ensuring our military remains agile and responsive. This proactive step ensures our borders remain impervious, our military remains swift-footed, and our nation stands resilient in the face of challenges from the south. So all the things that we could currently do, we could do stuff about taxes. We can do welfare privatization, which that just gives us 2 budget now, though. This not future budget. That gives us a bit of extra budget for future. This gives us a little extra budget. This just loses me authority. I think I am going to do a medium initial global energy sale for that extra 2 budget in exchange for 3 energy. And then, let's see. Can't do that one no matter what. Let's see. Need 1 more for that. Need a bit more for that. I also can't do that one yet. I need another budget. I think I'm going to actually do a small energy sale. We're gonna get, actually, let me double check how much this costs. Or not that one. Yeah, it doesn't cost me any energy to do. So we're going to do a small global energy sale for 1 extra budget. But then we're going to go down to you, and we're actually going to just build you, which will in the long term give us extra energy each turn to make up for that. And having more energy per turn means that we'll be able to build more of these heavy duty ones and actually have energy to run them, since they all cost energy to run. So that's what we're going to do there. Great. Denial of welfare services for Gulkinists. The Gulkis community in Rizia is facing severe discrimination with the state activity denying them access to essential welfare services. The blatant exclusion has deepened social rifts, pushing the marginalized group into dire straits and escalated social tensions, and high amounts of illegal substance abuse. The kingdom grappling with significant substance abuse problems, with a large portion of the population battling addiction. This widespread issue is causing alarm across various societal sectors, indicating an escalated opioid crisis. We also have a dissatisfied Gulkinist community. The Gulkinist community, adhering to a strict lifestyle of warrior culture and spiritual discipline, faces substantial challenges and dissatisfaction within Rizia. Their pursuit of divine society clashes with societal norms, leading to feelings of alienation, a strained relationship with the wider community. And we also have a vibrant drug trade node. Rizia has become a major node in international drug trade, exacerbated by lax border controls and inconsistent enforcement. The burgeoning illicit market not only fuels domestic substance abuse, but also attracts nefarious international elements, demanding urgent and comprehensive action. But we do have a neutral Das Nurse community. Das Nurse community, guided by Saint Das, teachings of the 11 pillars of Nurti, maintains a neutral stance in the kingdom. While there are some concerns about the observation of traditions and purification rites, the overall situation is stable, with no major conflicts or contentment. And we have a neutral Eurysist community as well. The Ursus community maintains a neutral stance, practicing their faith with a focus on curiosity and skepticism. While there are minor issues regarding the expression of their beliefs, overall the community coexists peacefully without major conflict or significant contentment. So, you know, everything's going fine enough. What else do we have around here that we could potentially do? We could raise the base income tax, which I think I will do. It uses up the rest of my authority, but increases my budget per turn amount. And I think I am going to do that. I'm saying that as well. 20% income tax. Rizia has just its income tax of 20% for its citizens. This revised taxation structure aims to boost public revenue, ensuring more substantial funds for national development, and maintain a clear and consistent fiscal framework for the populace. We have a lot of news. Tax increases for all. In the latest communique issued by the Crown, an increase of the income tax from 10% to 20% was announced. The statement mentioned this unfortunate measure is absolutely needed to maintain the physical health of the nation, which has been under pressure lately. The palace hopes that all Rizian citizens will come together in sharing this burden as their duty to the nation, and promises to mitigate any hardships that come of it as much as possible with targeted policies. To do our part, the next page of newspaper puts forward measures every individual can take in order to lessen the financial burden this tax increases on one's household. King envisions greater gas exports Esri's field to provide. In order to increase Riza's gas output, as well as to boost domestic energy security, the palace has announced that it will be undertaking a major expansion of the Eureka's offshore gas field. The construction of new offshore platforms as well as onshore refining facilities will greatly increase Riza's gas production capabilities, paving the way for this backbone of our economy to be strengthened. The king has announced that this new decree will potentially allow for greater exporting of natural gas to Riza's neighbors in the future, something that will only be undertaken if, according to the palace, the security of Riza's domestic supply won't be threatened. The announcement highlights that this could provide great future riches for the country. Energy exports set to increase. In an effort to increase the income of the state, the Treasury has announced that it's exploring the possibilities of selling off part of the gas surplus to interested global partners. Specific partners still to be found, but several nations have already expressed interest. During the press announcement, it was especially stressed that only surplus will get sold, in order to not endanger Riza's domestic supply. A beneficial deal will be sought that still ensures Riza's domestic supply remains secured. Shiny new military school in Bear King's name. A brand new state-of-the-art military academy is currently being built near the town of Solomon, unveiled by our top generals and proudly carrying the name of beloved King Ramis. It will teach a new generation of highly educated military personnel. At the facility, the newest military tactics and theories will be taught, with the traditional fighting techniques receiving rigorous updates to bring them into modern age. The kingdom remains committed to excellence, both in bravery on the battlefield as well as knowledge in the minds of our generals. And now we're also going to look at the Novazar oil field closure. The historic oil field has shut down its operations. A significant chapter in Riza's oil history is drawing to a close. The Novazar oil field at Fulst Datar, an instrumental asset since discovery in 1895, faces imminent shutdown. Despite the depletion of its once abundant reserves, the field has continuously played a role in meeting Riza's oil demands. Under the unwavering management of the Rizan oil and gas, the field has stood the test of time, but nature's limit is becoming evident. Well, where one door closes, another opens. Sadly. But I think this is a good time to go ahead and end this episode. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell button. And as always, peace.